moving closer and closer to the ground, shining brightly between the buildings and through the treetops. You are immersed in the sight, mind traveling through many alleys, some more bright and some more dark. Seems like an endless journey. That is, until you hear your name being called out. Hey there, are you focusing even a bit? Or is looking through the window much more interesting to you? Suddenly, you're brought back to reality, tired and confused. Then you have to answer some random question about a random topic. Biology, literature, history, geography. It's not really important. The story goes the same way for each of those. Anyways, you somehow manage to vaguely answer the question. Teacher not being very happy with the answer, but tired from the busy and long day as well. Moving on to the next topic. You look at the clock on the wall. Funny, seems like time magically slows down when you're in the class, and even more so as the school day slowly approaches its end. You feel tired, and the subject could not interest you less. You begin to zone out again and start looking out of the same window. Sun has disappeared and mystical violets and blues took its place. Sky is truly magnificent today. Seems like magic, you think to yourself. The same magic suddenly sparks a creativity in you, and you slowly drift to a world of your own imagination and start drawing one of the plants that might appear in this blue and violet mindscape. Immersed in sketching, you, of course, completely forget about the lesson flowing slowly to your ears. Soon after, you check the clock again. Interestingly, time now passed much more quickly. The school bell will be in 5 minutes. You can already hear your classmates pack, and nervousness starts to seep in. Yes, you feel the relief that it's over for today and that you get to go home and unwind a bit. Only for a bit, of course, because even if it's a somewhat more slow-paced week, there is still both homework and studying to be done. However, what causes you some slight anxiety is not really that. It is that you have to pass by other people, your classmates, and look at them, laugh together, socialize, living what seems to be a fun teenage high school life. But remembering, you are not really a part of it. The school bell rings, you pick up your things and walk out of the classroom and into a school hallway. Laughter, chatting, giggling, like always. But you quietly walk through the corridors, into the loud main hall, to your locker, and take out your jacket, maybe some books and other things, and walk towards the exit. You can see some people. Some are looking at you, and sometimes you think you can see them whispering something while doing so. Well, nothing new really. Some were even your friends before. Well, good times, I guess, you think to yourself. You're on your way home, happy to be over with today's school life, thinking it was an okay day, could get worse. Some days are better, some days are not, but, well, you still, of course, have a little overthinking session with yourself of how you appeared to others today. Were you being weird? I mean, it happened even more often while you actually had some friends there you were scared to lose. And well, at one point you did. So well, at least now you don't have to overthink that so much, for it is already in the past. Well, anyways, you're almost home. Time to grab some food and later put some relaxing lo-fi on while you drift into your own imagination, entering the dream world of your own brain, stepping away from reality just for a bit. Well, the drawing part hasn't changed that much really, so here's the time-lapse of a more recent one, an escape from some newer worries, tasks and chores. Worries could really be about many things in life. Anxiety about will you and those around you be well and healthy? What if you accidentally do something dangerous and get harmed? What if the wars will spread? What if AI situation gets out of control? What if something happens to your pets? What if you fail at work, university, or school, or simply disappoint someone? So many what ifs and so many anxieties about various things happening in life. I'm not going to talk about all those today, as I will focus more on the worries and anxieties related to socializing, making and keeping friends. But well, those other topics could also appear in some future videos. However, back to the drawing I'm working on, with which I decided to escape to a faraway winterscape, feeling a bit seasonal and accepting those cozy times. even while being more of a warm time of the year type of person. However, what doesn't change with the season is the wish to escape out of the hustle and bustle of a busy city life, to enter the more peaceful world where one could live more in touch with nature and hear and see way more peaceful sounds and sights, leaving the worries of an everyday life behind. This dream place would usually consist of some peaceful coastal sights, sounds of serene seaside landscapes. But the next most popular in my mind would be some isolated mountain villages with dense forests, places hidden from the eyes of a fast-paced towns. And this time, with this art piece, I decided to go for that mountainous escape and a winter wonderland. However, intertwined with some fantasy elements as well, such as a glowing starfire. It's often that in my daydreams I tend to fly away to both places that are more realistic and those that are a lot more fantasy-like a blue and violet lands with plants and mushrooms glowing. Today, however, I decided to incorporate both reality and fantasy, enveloping the feeling of both cold environment and the cozy warm fire, of both escapism, freedom and isolation from loudness, but also of warm feeling of a true friendship, of not being alone, being heard and sharing stories together, all while sitting around this cozy magical starfire. Those things, I know, can sound quite opposite, and the contrast is definitely present. However, I do believe those things can go together, and that many people, myself included, often wish for that kind of life, at least from time to time. In our fast-paced everyday life, it's often hard to make real friends. So many relations stay on surface level, not genuine, sometimes seemingly warm, while actually not truly that way. It could be anywhere, university, in work, various events and places. But well, it all starts in kindergarten. There, it might seem the easiest to get new friends, simply by playing together. But even there, it might be something that is harder to achieve, due to you being more of a sensitive and anxious child. There is a lot of noise, and well, kids can be somewhat cruel to each other from time to time. Those fights don't usually last quite long, and could be about the silliest reasons, like who should play with that toy at the moment. If it's some role-playing game, who gets to be this or that. It could be some silly mocking, still, things that can leave an imprint on some kid's mind and could make them feel less secure and raise nervousness. So that child begins to feel lonely. But well, this kindergarten time is almost done. Soon the school will begin. This will change everything. That kid thought. Okay, anyways, imagine being that child. You wait patiently for the school days to begin. This whole new journey, so many new people who never met you, never saw your weirdness, and who could actually become friends with you. And this journey does begin. You play with some kids, seems like you even make some friends, go to the birthday parties, then again play during recess in school. And soon after, it happens again. Some mocking from those classmates, some gossiping from the others, and after a while, some of those who seem to be your friends slowly join them and start moving more and more away from you. Days pass, years pass, cycles repeat. At the end of an elementary school, many people who you used to hang out with left. Still, you do end up with one genuine friend. Then again, high school. You feel excited. This is it, again, a whole new opportunity. And again, you do manage to start talking to some people more. You seem to actually get along pretty well. You spend recess time together. You walk to grab some food together. You even start hanging out a little. New Year Eves, shopping, school trips, birthdays. Yet somehow it feels like you're not completely part of it. You managed to stay in this group of people. You hang out together, laugh together. But honestly, you don't really feel that you are so close of a friend to them as they are to each other. You usually hang out with them while they are all together, not really one-on-one, as they seem to do more oftenly. Really getting to know the other person even more, becoming even closer friend to them. It is a somewhat different situation than back at the elementary school, when you were really trying to get close to some people and be best friends with them. Like, you really cherished quality over quantity, and you were more focused on keeping those friendships rather than trying to get to know more and more people and be more of a social person in general. So, well, that didn't really work out well, except for the one friend you still have. But it's like, especially during the earlier years of school, when you really thought that some friends you made, that those kids, that they will stay your best friends for life. Like, you really envisioned that life with them always being around, you always hanging out with them. Like, you thought that couldn't change. But well, at some point, well, people just start gossiping again, and things changed. Like, and it happened a few times, not just once, when you thought, okay, I now really am a best friend to that person. But then something happens. It could be a fight, or, like I said, some gossiping you realized was going on. So many things, but well, it's just that you kind of stopped being so sure about keeping the best friends, and like had more insecurities about, okay, will this person leave you? Will they really want to be my friend in the future? Like, just more anxiety and nervousness, really. But well, now that you're in high school, you simply don't know how to do that, how to get closer to others anymore. You think that the words you say genuinely sound silly and weird, and feel that you simply don't know how to socialize that well. You feel like if you start talking, it may sound weird, that you won't know what to say, about what topic to talk to, how much to say about what. So much overthinking, overanalyzing, but yeah, so much trying to not repeat what you did in elementary school, with fear that the past might repeat itself, that you might get closer to people and then lose them again. And so a third year comes, and with it, well, a change. Because what you feared might happen, well, it did. You are still not sure what actually happened, really. You just know that one day they simply went their separate way. It never really got resolved, but well, you can feel they don't really see you as a part of their group anymore. It's pretty weird, actually, and you're not sure what you did exactly that could have led to this. Was it something out of a many analyses you made in your head earlier that you thought would make you seem odd or annoying in the end? Or was it something else entirely? Well, you're not sure. It's kinda blurry. You also weren't in the best mental state at the time. Well, school year ends. New, the last one, begins. You talk to some people, sometimes, but don't really manage to make actual friends. You are still friends only with one person from elementary school. Thankfully, this friendship is still alive and not really going away. And then, as the end of the school approaches, 2020 pandemic starts. It is a chaotic time and full of uncertainty, but you feel somewhat relieved to not have to go to school constantly. And even though you have to prepare for your final exams, you still manage to find some more time for hobbies, such as drawing, playing guitar, singing, and some little tiny pieces of world building of the land you've started creating in your head during this more lonely school year. And as those exams pass, university begins, still pretty much online due to the pandemic. Because of that, you don't really get an opportunity to start to know other students. You're balancing between your tasks, studying, and your free time, immersed in your own fantasy world from time to time. It's okay, but a bit lonely. As the second semester starts, while many classes are still online, some actually do begin to be in university classrooms, and some chatting between you and other students does appear. Still, it's usually pretty much something in between, not really something that led to start hanging out with someone more, to get really closer to anyone outside of university spaces. But well, first year ends, summer starts, you still hang out with a friend from elementary school, summer ends, and the second year of university starts. And well, things now finally do begin to change. You manage to meet some new people and be somewhat more social and actually achieve at getting closer to someone. Well, you even manage to fall in love. Yes. And also, you get to meet some other people. Many of them don't really become your close friends. But still, you feel like you worry less about how you appear to the others, about do they see you as weird or boring. And finally, you feel relief. 3 years pass, you're still in a relationship, and also still talking to your friend from elementary school. And you seem to even get some new friends. Perhaps you're not that clueless when it comes to socializing. So, you see, things start changing a bit. Slowly, you let go of so much expectations, realizing you don't have to chase after people or constantly worry about how you appear to them, but rather relax and not darken your glow and interests for the fear of looking funny. But also, I think what's important to learn is to rather cherish a few but real friends rather than constantly worry about fitting in. Still, even with the sentence where I said you don't have to chase after others, you also don't have to avoid meeting new people and be afraid of it. After all, if you never try, you won't be able to find out if someone really might become your close friend. And also, don't get mad at yourself if it doesn't work out. It doesn't have to. There are so many people out there. Life is long and there are many opportunities. Not everyone needs to remain best friends. It's okay. Don't blame yourself for that, but rather do some introspective thinking. Okay, did I do something wrong? Could I try and fix that about myself in the future? Or was it about the other person? Or maybe simply we weren't really fit for each other, so it didn't work out. And also, don't beat yourself up for what happened in the past. Take an introspective look at it and see what might have been your fault and what perhaps wasn't. Don't keep that hate either towards yourself or towards others. See what you might have learned from it. Okay, I can change this or that. But also, don't think it's all because of you. Others make mistakes too, and, well, you never know. They might have learned from their mistakes as well, and they might have changed and became better people. Of course, unfortunately, that's not always the case. Some people change, some don't. But it's important to not let that resentment towards the ones that hurt you take a toll on your life, and not to move through it with that really angering you constantly. Just accept that those things are now in the past and you are free to move on and find new light in your life. And also remember that even if you feel like you are unable to make friends, you feel that you will never be able to really get close to others and will always be alone. Remember, what is happening now and what happened in the past doesn't have to happen in the future. And things change, you change, circumstances change, locations, where you are, school, university, job, whatever. And new chances will arise. You're not doomed to forever be alone. It's okay. Though, what I definitely wish for is more kindness and understanding amongst everyone. Simply more compassion in this world. Something that would definitely help people connect with each other more. Less hate and impulsive reactions of anger towards each other, or trying so hard to appear cool, while at the same time forgetting yourself, and more thoughtful and truthful conversations, more relaxed and without the worry of how one appears to another constantly lingering above our heads, where you also don't have to always have something to say in order to stay close to someone, but rather accept each other's silence as well, and respect that everyone needs some time alone and to recharge. Introverts more, but I believe even extroverts, because we all as humans need that time to unwind for a bit, being friendships, communicating with more understanding and patience towards each other. That is definitely something that I do believe so many of us truly wish for, and at least sometimes wish to escape to a place hidden from the crowded grey cities and their busy streets, to escape those crowds and find their own sanctuary, to get more alone time to unwind, relax, and immerse themselves in hobbies, but still not to isolate themselves completely, with nobody ever around, but to still have some people by their side, those who understand you and with whom you can talk freely and without fear of being abandoned and left behind. The ones who respect your boundaries and the fact that we all need those times when we move more slowly through the life. Those times of both introspection and daydreaming, but also times where we pursue our interests and hobbies. Well, time to get back to this artwork. With all that I've said, and with this wish for more peaceful conversations in our life, I decided to add some tree logs that resemble benches, so that two souls could simply sit by that magical fire and talk about whatever topics may come from their heads. Those people could be in love, they could be best friends, or perhaps family members. People that have finally found their peace here, surrounded by miles and miles of nature. Or perhaps they have just met, wandering around, still looking for a place where they can rest. But in each case, they listen to each other. Don't just jump to conclusions, and rather have patience and pay attention to what is said. They can talk about both more serious and more relaxing topics, both sad and joyous, and simply feel at peace with each other. No overthinking and overanalyzing about how the other person sees you, just immersion in talking and time spent together. Well, Since this landscape creation is done, and benches by the fire are already waiting, any wanderers are welcome to come and sit here, relax, and immerse themselves in the sounds and sights of this wintry landscape, half realistic and half magical. The whimsical starfire providing warmth, security, and comfort. This landscape will now come to life. Fire start flickering. Even the mystical night sky slowly swirling. And to whoever comes here to unwind, I wish a magical and calming moments of peace, relaxation, or perhaps time spent sitting by another kind soul. Maybe talking, or maybe not, but simply relaxing in silence together. Take a breath. Feel the warmth and safety those floating stars bring to you, and embrace this magical night. And I wish you those festive times filled with joy.